Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Right, another Scottish beer. Woo-hoo-hoo. And it's from a brewery that's a bit hit and miss, in my view. They can make a nice beer, but they can also make a very kind of below average beer as well. They're kind of, in my view, they're a bit hit and miss. Reminds me of probably, so I would probably class this as the kind of Scottish equivalent of Black Sheep. That they can make some nice beers, but they can also make just, what the hell, what were you doing? You know, that type of thing. What was that about? What were you trying to achieve with that? Because trust me, you fucking missed the mark. That type of scenario. So today we're doing, and again, stupid bloody name, anyway, but we're doing March of the Penguins from the William Brothers Brewery, or brewing company, or whatever they want to call it. And it's apparently a smooth, creamy stout. Jesus. But anyway, it's a smooth, screamy stout, is it? No, it's a smooth, creamy stout. Jesus, I need to put the teeth back in. It's 4.9%, it's 500ml, again, just round about the £2 mark, maybe slightly over. Again, I bought this in Edinburgh at Sainsbury's. And apparently, there's some spiel in the back. It's a silky smooth stout. March of the Penguins is brewed with a blend of chocolate malt and roasted barley combined with a lovely hop aromas and a spicy fruity finish. There we go, fruity finish. And there we go. Anything else in there? No. No. Uh-oh. I'm glad I read the ingredients, because here we go. Ingredients. Water. Okay. Malted barley. Malted wheat. Oats. Hops. Orange peel. Yeast. Oh, there you go. Right, anyway. Let's see what the orange peel is going to taste like. Maybe it's going to be like a dirty chocolate orange, eh? Nah. Probably tastes like a round cheese fruit pastel. Anyway. Let's pour it out and see what we get. People seriously. Gotta watch these buggers. They'll sneak any shit into a bottle, so they will. Right, I've got loads of these fucking oranges left over from Christmas and that. Santa must have put them in my stock. Or does I put it in the wife's stock? But anyway, Jesus, I poured that one. We need to get rid of them. Why did we just file them into the beer? Well, I like the bit inside, I just don't like the peel. Oh, shove the peel in it. I mean, is it like that? I mean, what is it? Do they put whatever they basically come in the door eating, what they've got in their packed lunch, what's left over from the packed lunch? I just fire that into the beer. So anybody that's listening on the podcast, it's dark, funny enough it's a stout, there's a kind of tan coloured head, a bit of finger. Smell wise, well, I'm getting chocolate, getting bitter chocolate. And I'm getting a little hue. It does actually slightly smell like Tilly's chocolate orange. I'm getting little orange aromas. And it just gives me that little kind of chocolate orange. Or like the orange cream that you get in Milk Tray or Quality Street. Because that's the right kind of aroma to it. All because the lady loves Milk Tray. We'll put the box of chocolates down and get your gums wired in this bottle, love it. You'd love that. Yeah. Jesus. Right, yeah. Nothing else really. Just slightly chocolate smell. I'm not even really getting malt or anything like that, I'm just getting slightly chocolatey smell. Bitter skin of chocolates, aroma, and little subtle hint of orange, and it just smells slightly Terry's chocolate orange, or like the orange creams you get in chocolates. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Right. First thing I noticed is the mouthfeel is actually quite nice. It's got quite a nice mouthfeel. So it does have a slightly kind of silky feel to it. So it did say silky smooth, didn't they? They did say a silky smooth stout. And it is silky smooth, and there is a bit of silkiness to it. So the mouthfeel is actually quite nice. The problem is, though, the flavours. I mean, there is that kind of chocolatey kind of malt kind of flavour. But with the orange there, it does give you that slightly confectionery feel because it doesn't really have the bitterness. It has slightly bordering more on the sweeter side, and that's what's kind of boosting the kind of confectionery feel of it. So it does feel more like confectionery, like kind of an orange cream chocolate, rather than because it just doesn't have that bitterness at the end to kind of balance it out that you would expect from a stout. You expect to have more of a bitter finish, but you're just not getting it. And it is on the sweeter side. I mean, it's alright. And some nice flavours there and everything else, but because it doesn't have that bitterness, it just feels lighter. And it's a bit of a strange because it's quite silky. I mean, I actually quite like this. It's quite nice. But it's not like a traditional stout. I would say it's if you look at, like, you know, traditional stout one side, milk stout the other side, this is kind of slightly more towards the milk stout. It's not quite bang in the middle. It's not over towards the kind of traditional stout side. It is slightly more towards the milk stout side. And it is the sweetness and just with the flavour profiles just makes it a bit lighter, which is what I usually get with milk stouts. I feel that they're a bit lighter, especially body wise. And I feel that this, just with the sweetness and everything else, it's a little bit lighter than what I would want. Again, I do like bitterness more. I'm more of a, I enjoy the kind of bitter edge to the beer rather than a sweeter edge to the beer. And for me, this is towards the sweeter edge, and I think it loses a little bit of body that way. It just becomes lighter. You know, it's a strange one, but I like a little bit of thickness to a stout. So I do. Not actually in physical consistency, but more to do with a good traditional stout should have plenty of body, and that body helps to kind of support the bitterness at the end, and it just not quite there from that point of view. It's just, like I say, it's on the sweeter edge. I mean, it's easy drinking, and I'm not saying that the orange is really in your face, because it's not, but it does, it's quite a consistent, subtle flavour, and it is quite subtle. But because you've got that kind of chocolatiness, and then you have that subtle kind of orange and that sweetness, the two of them do, well, the three of them kind of gel together, and they just kind of like link with each other. So these flavours are quite cohesive, and it just gives you this kind of slightly confectionery feel, gives you a slightly lighter feel to it. It really could do with a bit more of a bitter edge, especially at the back end. And yeah, I mean, it's okay. I would struggle to drink. I mean, even though it feels a bit lighter and a bit easier to drink because of the sweetness and everything else, I would struggle, me personally, to drink a few of them just because they might feel a bit more sessionable, but the sweetness means that I would sicken of it very, very quickly. I think I'd probably be halfway down the second pint and I'm like, I'm having enough of this, really. I want something a bit more in my face. I want something with a bit more bitter edge. I want slightly something a bit more grown up. A little bit more of an adult feel to it, because it feels slightly kind of softer. And yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, they're very quite a nice beer, and the flavours go well together, but they're just not really my cup of tea flavours. That's it. I just want something with a bit more edge to it. I like more traditional stouts, and this really isn't quite a traditional stout. Right, okay, let's break down the flavours. Okay. Starts off, oh Jesus, that sweetness is getting stronger. Starts off, front of mouth, you're getting malt, you're getting grain, and you're getting quite a good level of sweetness, which is fine. The problem is though, just get little hints of chocolate just near the end of the front of the mouth, just as it starts to move over to the mid-tongue. And yeah, I would say the malt just slightly drops a little bit. Malt, but the chocolate kind of flavour starts to kind of slightly ramp up a bit. So obviously there's a few different malts in this, but the chocolate malt starts to really start to come through more. So the kind of more traditional malt slightly feels like it peels away a wee bit in the mid-tongue. But what happens is, as the kind of chocolate, and this is a problem, is you start getting more of a chocolate flavour, but you don't really get the bitterness because the sweetness starts to kind of slightly ramp up a bit in the mid-tongue. So it's an okay level at the front of the mouth, but it starts to ramp up a bit in the mid-tongue. And I think that's what kind of removes the kind of bitterness. And then slightly over the top, you just get these accents, little accents of orange on the mid-tongue. So it's kind of moved over from the front of the mouth. The initial thing is starting to hear, the chocolate tones are starting to ramp up. The sweetness is starting to ramp up, and you get in the middle of the mid-tongue, and you start getting these little accents of orange. And then the three of them just kind of do a dance together from the middle of the mid-tongue right the way through, and including the aftertaste. It's just like, well, these flavours are here, and yeah, they all like kind of link arms or start holding hands together and start basically skipping along the bloody road all the way to the aftertaste. And they're still bloody holding hands as they fuck off. And for me, it's just too sweet and too light in the feel. But it has a nice mouthfeel, but it just in general just a little bit of stodge, but I'm just not quite getting that. Yeah. No. It's a very light finish. And the sweetness, the orange, and the chocolate and the malt, they all dissipate together right at the end. And yeah, I mean, right now, I'm halfway down this, or maybe slightly more than halfway down, but I'd say yeah, roughly about halfway down. And I'm getting sick of it. Already in my mouth and everything else is thinking, hope to God the next beer something got a bit of bitterness to it. I hope it's got something a bit more about it, because couldn't go another one of them. So yeah, when I said I'd probably be halfway down the second glass, well, I'm halfway down the first glass, and I'm already kind of almost had enough of it. I mean, if you are like your beers on a slightly bit more sweeter side, or you're into more milk stouts, then I would probably recommend it. I think you'd probably quite like it. If you like the kind of chocolate orange kind of flavour profile, then again, give this a go. You might like this. If you're a big fan of Terry's chocolate orange or any other orange cream chocolates, then you probably will like this as well. So it's not really for me, but it's actually brewed quite well. and overall it's quite a nicely brewed beer. Just the flavour profile don't really kind of suit me. So what would I give this out of 10? There's a question. Going by how it's brewed and how the flavours are and how they work together, even though they're not the flavours that I actually want in a beer and prefer in a beer, they are actually quite nice, and it is quite a nice beer, but it's just not really for me. So on that basis, I'm going to be fair and say I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6. In general, I would say it's above average, but I wouldn't buy it again because it's just not really for me. But I'm not going to not recommend it, because if you like the sound of these flavour profiles, then yeah, give it a go, because I think you probably would enjoy it. If you quite like milk stout, and the thing is though, it's not as sweet as a milk stout, but it's still on the sweeter side. So again, if you're more into kind of milk stouts or beers with a bit more of a sweeter profile or sweeter edge and no real bitterness, then yeah, give this a go. You might actually like this. So that's what I'm going to do. So yes, it's March of the Penguins. It's 4.9%, 500ml. It's 6 out of 10. It's quite a nice beer, but not really for me. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.